screens or no?
Good morning, everybody. Shauna Mail, Region 6.
Good morning, Sean. Thank you for joining. Lisa Soto from Region 2, have you been able to join?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You guys can go back to your office. PS. Where do I go first? Albert,
Yeah,
you ready to get started? We have quorum.
thank you. Good morning all and welcome all to the PSC meeting for the month of August. I would like to call this meeting to order. Thank you, Julia, for confirming quorum. Would you please also lead us through our agenda review?
All right, so today, after we have our action item, just the approval of the minutes, we have a overview of our project delivery office pilot that's kicking off from Robert West. Our benefits Cal team has several updates to provide on the ROI, CalFresh Sunset, and some of the future enhancements. Our release and policy update, we'll be giving our standard one with an additional piece regarding the HR1 implementations that are coming in, what we know at this point. We have our transition update, then our monthly performance trends. Saw's learning exchange. Peggy will be giving an update, and then we have our QA procurement update from Tom. Closing out with our state partners. So with that, we can turn it back over to you, Albert.
Thank you. So at this time, members of the public have an opportunity to speak on non-agenda items. The public is limited to 3 minutes per speaker, except for a speaker may be allowed additional time should they need interpretation services. Members of the public can also speak on any agenda item when that item is called and being recognized by the chair. At this moment, are there any speakers, members of the public, or speakers that would like to speak on non-agenda items? Jess, good morning, Jen. Go ahead.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
I just want to confirm if Amalia is here from River City Food Bank. Okay, I think Amalia is having some tech issues, so I'm going to present her public comment. So Amalia Canesco Cruz is with the River City Food Bank in Sacramento, and they work closely with the county to support customers to navigate the benefits process. They also have the opportunity to raise concerns about what their customers experience. And one thing they brought forward are the issues with the call center software. When they identify the issues, the county's been really great about investigating and elevating the concerns. However, there's a couple of issues that have come up to bring forward to this group, since CalSAWS holds the main contract with the Amazon Connect service that manages the software. So they know that the county has raised these issues and want to elevate it further to support a resolution. So the first issue is that it sounds like when ACS makes improvements or enhancements, it sometimes affects the settings that the county has established, but ACS doesn't warn the county or remind them to check their settings when they make these changes. The result is that there is inconsistent service when, for example, the settings get changed so that instead of the caller getting the callback option every 30 minutes of waiting, instead it offers the callback option for only one time after 1 minute. So before the person even realizes they might need to use it. So that's one of the settings that seems to be impacted by something that's happening, and Amazon isn't warning the county to go back and check it. And the second thing is when River City Food Bank calls in to speak with a worker, and when they do get that option for the callback and use it, they are finding that there are frequent times when they do not get the call back, and they raise it to the county, who then put in a ticket to ACS to look into it. But the response that they got was that ACS couldn't see it on their end, but didn't seem to make any further effort to explore the problem, even though they're continuing to experience this issue. So we wanted to bring this forward to see if there was any more that could be done to support the counties in managing the call center system to support the customers and the CBO partners. We really appreciate the effort to provide the efficient phone system and hope that by sharing this information, the CalSAWS project can encourage resolution for these issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. We will take that back for advisement, and also just that when we do kind of make some system updates, we do tend to send the configurations that were updated. So, but yeah, we will take that back. At this moment, are there any other members of the public? And I will ask the room to assist me if there are any hands in virtual.
Yep, we're good, Albert.
Thank you. Seeing none and hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to our next agenda item. Thank you.
All right, the next agenda item is the approval of the minutes and review of the action items from the July 17th PSC meeting.
Are there any comments of the PSC or a motion?
Oh, are the two? Oh, okay. Sorry, just kidding, Albert. Oh, okay. Oh, we have, yeah, sorry, Albert, we do have action items. Right now we have from owner, we are supposed to provide more information on how we are updating benefits count so that customers are going to be able to update property fields on their REs or applications as of January 1st. And we now have start assessing property for wait, what's that? For Medi-Cal. So I think that's for either owner or Fred Gaines. Do we?
Sure. I can speak to that, and maybe Fred can chime in. So after our previous July JPA board meeting, Julia, we work on that action item, and essentially the policy mandate is January 1st for that, collecting that asset information, and we are working with CalSAWS team and our state partners for the latest version of the form. And the mechanism to make it available for customers on the BenefisCal before the renewal process is available on the BenefisCal digital flow. That was a question from our counties in our July meeting, and right now we are working towards to make it available before the deadline. Working with our CalSAWS and the state partners.
Fred, do you have anything to add?
I think pretty much covered that.
All right, the next one that we had that we'll have to push to the next PSC was to provide a timeline on how things happen when CalSAWS changes occur, unless Karen, you have something to add.
I'm not clear exactly on.
That's what I was going. I was gonna follow up and say I don't.
So we might need to go back and listen to the minutes or something, because I'm not really clear on what it is.
Yeah.
We have an established SDLC that we follow, so I'm not sure, but we can take a look.
Yeah, we'll go back and Michelle's not here anyway, but we will follow up on that and keep that action item open for the next PSC. Okay, back to you.
Thank you.
Over.
Thank you. Any questions on the action items from the PSC? Are there any public comment on that piece? Hearing none and seeing none and hearing none. The next on the same agenda item, we have the approval of the minutes. And is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Oh.
We have a motion here from.
I second that motion, Albert.
Who is it?
Irene.
Irene. Okay, thank you, Irene.
So before we take a vote, are there any comments from the PSC? Any comments of the public? Seeing none and hearing none, can we do a roll call vote?
Yep,
Since we have
okay. Clarissa,
I approve.
Lisa, Soto,
Approved.
Rachel,
I approve.
Janae? Janae, can you hear me?
She's shaking her head, her volume's not working.
Albert?
Approve.
Sandra?
Approved.
Sean?
Approve?
Olga?
Approve.
All right, we're good to go.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Okay, so we have some informational items to present. We're going to turn it over to Robert to share about our project delivery office pilot.
Perfect. Good morning, everyone. My name is Robert Luss, Director of Technology and Operations here at CalSAWS. One of the pilots that we're starting up right now is the Project Delivery Office. The purpose of this is to provide visibility across the enterprise with the various changes that we've had, to coordinate across multi-vendors now that we have more supporting the environment and the project, and to reduce risk with that visibility while implementing continuous improvement so we continue to improve efficiency and effectiveness of the limited resources that we have. So we currently have a PMO, and the PDO is going to be a complementary organization. It does not take away anything from what the PMO currently does. The PMO currently is over your standards, your methodology, and really the budget and oversight. Whereas the PDO is the effective implementation of those projects, reporting on those projects across the enterprise so we can make decisions that align with our long-term goals. The scope, as mentioned with the PDO, is really the program and enterprise level. Think of the PDO as more of the operational level. As we look at some of the success measures with the PMO, it's governance, compliance, budgetary, and enterprise maturity, whereas with the PDO, we're really focusing on that project delivery, stakeholder satisfaction, as well as operational readiness. And then as we kick this off, really the first part is really establishing the team and defining what exactly we're going to do. Again, this is complementary to what we currently have, not taking away from anything. And so we're going to be looking at the gap analysis, looking at tool requirements. Is what we have working? Will it deliver the visibility and the ability for leadership to make decisions, or do we need a new tool? And then we're going to start driving into some of those projects, really the high visibility ones, specifically some of the sub-projects under HR1 because of that potential impact. So as we move forward, we're trying to utilize this project and POC to be able to provide, again, that visibility to allow everyone here to make more informed decisions as these various projects move along. Pending any questions, that's all I have right now.
And just to kind of thread the needle between what Robert's team is doing and some of the other conversations, as we shared at the conference around this revised process at the top of the funnel with the BCRs, and once those actually get into the organization, better project tracking and more oversight of those work streams once we start kicking those off. This is really a complement and really kind of the infrastructure, so to speak, on how we are going to ensure successful delivery of those projects and keep the velocity of our individual projects, not project little p, not CalSAWS project. Albert, back to you.
Thank you. Any questions of the PSC?
No.
Are there any questions of the public? Okay, seeing none, hearing none. Thank you. Next item, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Frederick Gaines. I'm a Benefits Cal Director, and we are going to go over a couple of items that Julia mentioned in our agenda. I'm going to turn it over to Mafado to walk us through those.
Thank you, Fred. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mufaddal Tinmakar. I'm from the Benefits Cal team. Wanted to share an update with everybody on where we are with the release of information project. So what is release of information? Release of information is basically a process that enables the customer to authorize a CBO via approval from the county in order to help them. In some cases, CBO individuals, and in some cases, organizations can help customers view and manage their benefits. Currently, there is an offline process through which CBOs do get access to customer data. There's an ABCDM 228 form that allows them that access. However, recognizing the need for modernization and improved digital access, we worked back in 2022 with the state partners, the counties, as well as our stakeholder community to launch and initiate the release of information project. The ROI initiative spans multiple systems within the CalSOS ecosystem. It affects BenefitsCal, CalSOS Core, ForgeRock Ping, as well as Highland Imaging System. And over a period of 14 months back in 2022 and 2023, we collaborated closely with our stakeholders to develop several key features which were developed. However, they were not turned on in production. Quick summary of the key features. We allowed an ability for CBOs and the customers to be able to submit ROIs online using their BenefitsCal accounts. We updated their dashboards for them to be able to see information both on the customers and CBO side. Allowed ability for customers to revoke their CBOs and manage their, revoke their ROIs and manage their ROIs. Added ability for counties to manage ROIs in CalSOS. Of course, I mentioned the 4 different systems that are involved. So there were a lot of APIs used to transfer data across the systems. And then last but not the least, the training materials, including Health Center, YouTube, FAQs, webinars, etc. Moving on to the next slide, what happened in 2023 and why did we not go live? So in the JPA meeting on May 12 in 2023, the counties mentioned some security and operational concerns and requested a pause on the ROI. Between August 2023 and December 2024, an ROI work group was established. A lot of us worked closely on that work group in order to redefine some of the ACL requirements. And then in December 2024, the ACL was released. January and February, the project team, the CalSOS project team, again, in collaboration with our stakeholders, QA vendor, worked on reviewing the ACL, providing some comments back to the state. From March through July, we've been working with the state in order to refine those requirements as well as provide estimates and what is it that will require to deliver release of information. Now, one key thing, which I'm going to actually cover in the next slide, is we had a request from the state to see if there's different ways that we can do this so that some of the features can be released earlier. And that's why we proposed a phased approach, again, working closely in collaboration with the state for that. What we've proposed from a project perspective is 4 phases. 1A and 1B obviously is the initial phase where the launch will happen, if at all we go with this approach. Phase 1A is basically the pre-work that is required. It's essentially the prerequisite to kind of kick off the technology side of the project, right? Which begins with refining the requirements. One of the key concerns that were highlighted back in 2023 were the security concerns, which is the ability for the customers to be able to select the right CBO organizations. So, creating those kind of structures and cleaning up the existing CBOs that are established in BenefitsCal ForgeRock. Adding more identifiers to the CBO so that the customers can uniquely and correctly identify the CBO. We all understand this is critical customer information that is going to go out to the CBO. So we want to make sure that customers have all the information before they make the choice, as well as the counties. In some cases, counties get these ROIs through offline channels. Define and redefine terms and conditions, rights and responsibilities for all parties, including counties, CBOs, as well as the customers, where they'll have to accept the terms and conditions and they understand what it means to release information. And then finally, identifying the communication and training needs well in advance so that we don't have operational concerns when we launch our revised ROI. Phase 1B, just quick summary of this phase. The key part here is, of course, to merge the existing code. Like I mentioned, all of this development happened back in 2023. The systems have evolved since then. So we obviously want to make sure that all of the code that was developed gets merged. All the terms and conditions and CBO identifier information gets entered into the system, and then we could potentially go live with the basic functionality. In the phase 2, what we're proposing to do is updating CalSource to be able to add CBO information and review CBO information on a regular basis, so that the customers do get access to the the CBOs do get access to the ROIs. And then finally, in phase 3, we're going to be focusing on enabling the termination reason. Currently, we have a workaround for termination reason where the CBOs and the customers are redirected to their NOAs to review those termination reasons, as well as allow the CBOs to opt in and opt out of the functionality. Because we also heard loud and clear some of our CBOs saying, hey, if I am given the information that I do not want, I should be able to opt out of that information so that it's not shown on my dashboard. With that, I'll hand it over to Julia or Fred to see if they wanted to add something else.
I just wanted to remind everybody, this is a suggested approach, but we'll continue our partnership with all of the stakeholders in the state and the advocates as we, maybe move some things around within the phases if we choose to go down this path. So this is just our suggested where we feel like we can move along, but it is fluid until we have a direction.
Okay, with that, I can hand it over to Onur to talk about Get CalFresh sunset and support.
Thank you, Mufadal and Fred. Following the release of information updates, I will provide a brief overview of where we are in terms of the Get CalFresh transition and the sunset. You may recall in the July steering committee meeting, I referred a key important milestone we accomplished end of June of this year, which was the Get CalFresh system disabled the functionality, allowing customers to submit applications on the Get CalFresh portal itself. And the month of July was our first month to see that change or experience that across the board. And what you see on the slide is a kind of a trend over the last 4 months, April through the month of July, where we see the number of Get CalFresh applications, including CalFresh only and the multi-program applications across all channels, month over month. So between April, May, June, July, you see here, we still see a linear trend, given July being the first month, which we will continue to monitor that. And another thing to highlight here, which is important for us to have more visibility around, is we are working with CDSS to coordinate with our Get CalFresh partners, is to having a unique referral ID, like a referral campaign ID, that our Get CalFresh partners can add into the portal, so we can have more visibility on the referred traffic funneling from Get CalFresh to BenefitsGov. So that functionality that I'm referring to is the referral campaign, that we have since 2022, allowing CBOs to create a unique identifier, unique campaign where we can track the traffic across. So if we can have that campaign created, so we can have a more visibility around the actual traffic funneling from Get CalFresh to BenefitsGov. That is something that we are actively working on, so we may have that information available in the future steering committee meetings. With that, can we move on to the next slide, please? So next topic I would like to provide an update this morning is around the public-facing enhancements. In the previous meetings, you heard our CalSource leadership as well as us referring to overarching CalSource objectives, including enhancing the self-service access, streamlining the county administrative processes in the downstream, as well as improving the end-user experience and providing them more support. In alignment with those objectives, we have some items coming up this month in the month of August 2508, as well as the next 2 months. I will not touch on each and every item you see on the slide, that I've just touched on the key highlights. First item this month, release 2508, which is scheduled for next Thursday, the August 28th, is a citizenship document type, which was a feedback we heard from our state partner, from our stakeholder group community. There were some sensitivities around suggesting some document types during the application flow for immigration-related documents. Even though they were optional, it was creating some sensitivities around our customers. With that feedback, we already implemented this change. We removed that suggestions from the application flow, so which is already implemented. So you have to wait until next week for implementation. It is already done. And another piece that is actually scheduled for this month is error messages, displayed on the customers. If there is a relatively longer page and the customers are using a mobile device, and if there's an error message to be displayed to the customer, the system is automatically going to scroll to that point specifically instead of customers scrolling that. So to make it more in alignment with the enhancing user experience objective we had in the CalSouth objectives. For the month of September, release 2508, the key highlight here is the document upload functionality, which is a really heavily used feature across Benefits Cal. And we do have different avenues for customers to use that. They can use the Doc Center, they can use the AFP flow, they can use the anonymous flow, or the CBOs can upload documents. So we will be making changes to provide a more consistent experience across the board, which is coming up next month in the release 2509, along with the single streamline application changes, which is a federal requirement coming up for implementation to provide customers a more consistent experience again if they're applying for medical across different channels. And for the month of October, release 2510, the key highlights here are for our student population. For our student population applying for CalFresh application, there are some specific exemptions that they can be applicable for them, which is for local programs improve employability. Those exemption options will be available for student population in the application flow starting the October release. And then another important item is for the enhancing the usability and improving the user experience for the account creation OTP. We have been hearing from our customers as well as our stakeholders some confusion from the customers during account creation when they receive the OTP codes, which is essentially a validation code to validate their email address or phone number. So we will be reducing the number of OTPs they receive during that life cycle, again, to reduce to improve the user experience and make it more intuitive for them to align with our overarching CalSouth objectives. With that, Albert, this was our last slide for the Benefits Cal updates. I will hand it back to you for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the PSC?
Going back to the ROI-based implementation plan, do you have dates that go with that or yet? No dates.
There's two. We're still early in terms of timelines because we have to first have between the state, CalSouth, the counties, and our advocate partners, the agreement on the approach.
Okay.
First, and then we can actually start talking about that. Also, there's also still budgetary things that have to be determined. So we don't have dates yet because we can't plug it into our queue until we get those things established.
Are you asking for approval on the approach for today or?
No, there's no approval. Okay. This is just us sharing out. This is informational.
Okay.
So we've been coordinating with CWDA. They gave input on it on behalf of the counties at this point. And then last week we met with the advocates as well. So we're just sharing information.
Okay.
Really sharing information.
Any other comment from the PSC? Any comment of the public? Jen, go ahead.
Hi everybody. Thanks for the information. Also a question about the ROI timeline. Was this updated with any of the feedback from the conversation a couple of weeks ago, or is this the same?
Yeah, I think, well, you mean last Monday. We haven't actually made any changes to that. We have taken note of it, Jen, but we didn't update this slide. So
okay, thanks. Yeah. Just curious.
No,
and then
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Regarding the Get CalFresh sunset, our CBOs are seeing a very significant drop off in the applications coming in through the referral code that they use as part of their outreach. We're waiting to see the August data to see if there's a trend, but we are very concerned about how significant the drop off is since Get CalFresh sunsetted. So I just wanted to raise that and let you know that we'll bring forward more details once we have a chance to fully look at the data and stuff. So,
Yeah, keep us posted on that, Jen. I think we have, that's important for us to monitor as well. Once we
Thank
have
you.
more months.
And it's not clear if it's a drop off just of people struggling to get through the Benefits Cal application itself, or if it's an issue with the Benefits Cal CBO portal not tracking the clicks the way that it's supposed to. I think it could be even a combination of those. The last comment, I just wanted to say with the enhancements, really appreciate that the student exemption issue finally being resolved. This has been a concern since the student flow was launched, because for some reason it didn't get included as was expected. And we know that students in particular are often eligible and really struggle to get through the process because of the exemption. So we really hope to see a shift in their getting benefits once this is implemented. So thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Do we have any other members of the public wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none and hearing none, before we move forward, I'm going to ask the project if we can please just wait until the members of the public speak. I would hate that they don't get all their 3 minutes and we. Thank you, thank you. Next item.
Sir, yes, sir.
Hi, everyone. Karen Rapinati, Policy Design Director. Actually, the item that we had for the follow-up is going to be this presentation. It was the timeline. It was Clarissa's item, and it was from last PSC was to identify what our timeline looks like. We don't have an entire timeline, but for the things that we know of for dates, we have that timeline. So I have a number of slides in this presentation to help walk through that. So if we look at our upcoming August, just yesterday, we were able to confirm all of the numbers to be able to move forward on the COLA. And so the CalFresh COLA will move forward as expected with the October 1st implementation date. So we're very happy about that because it's always hard to get past the date and have to come back and rerun. So we are looking at a batch running mid-September for that, and we will be ready for October 1st. So that's probably the biggest one in that first line. And then in September, we have some other, the rest of the COLA running. So the first part of the COLA is to implement the values. So we'll put the values in. So once 10-day, which is either today or tomorrow probably, goes into effect, those values are available. And as people run EDBC, and then the second part is in September for the mid-September run for batch to update and run through all the cases to bring them up to the October 1st timeline.
Can I just clarify?
You can
one
clarify.
point?
Yes.
Sorry, since we just got the final sewer numbers yesterday, the values will not be going in until early September. This is similar to last year because we got the numbers late.
Yeah.
So what that means is, and I think it'll be in the memorandum, what we'll be doing when we do the batch run is picking up anything that hasn't been overridden and trying to rerun for that October benefit month. The work is already run the 10-1. So
thank you for clarifying.
more information will be coming on that. But yeah, again, this is, we always need numbers timely for COLAs. And so unfortunately with the changes and the impacts to sewers this year, since we only got them this week, we, it's a little bit different than last year. So we need to make sure we have adequate time to test and make sure that when we get everything in the system, it's working as planned.
And as you mentioned, we always do a batch memorandum that we send out that has all the information in it about our timelines and when things will be in there. So we will get that out to the counties as soon as possible as we move forward. Additionally, I won't drain all the slide on this one. We do have also on our radar the upcoming informational ABOD waiver ending mass mailer for October. That was a tongue twister. So we are getting prepared for that one. And then we have a number of, and so just to be clear, the September is the last the last Accenture release. And then we're trying to keep our priority releases smaller in October as we switch vendors. And then Deloitte will pick up for our November baseline release for 2511. And we have a number of, we are trying to keep that release a little bit smaller, but we do have a number of policy changes going into that release as well. Moving on to the next slide. This slide is our typical communication slide for things that take place for the 2509 release. So information about various communications that go out when the deployment's going out and then the follow-ups on that. On the next slide. So talking about HR1 a little bit more, we are providing the information that we know as of now. Hopefully we will get some other dates, but for CalFresh, we don't have dates yet for the items, and we know that the policy letters are pending. For Medi-Cal, again, the policy letters are pending, but we have worked with DHCS and CalHERS, CWDA to work on planning a strategy to reduce the impacts on counties for those items that are coming in January 1st, 2027. There's a number of those items. I have a slide on it to talk a little bit about trying to spread that out a little bit so it's not implementing all at the same time. And then as far as work groups goes, we will be recruiting a work group for reviewing the Medi-Cal changes, and a CalFresh group may be formed once the details are known, depending on the scope of the changes and the timeline and all of that. So more to come on the work group piece of it. Looking at the timeline for both the May revise and the HR 1 policy changes, there are several slides with this one. So there are so many changes. So for December, we are looking to make the May revise changes to Medi-Cal to accommodate the reinstatement of the asset limits and the expansion freeze as expected. That is going to be a release that's right before Christmas. And then all the rest of these are further out. So we have some time to work through what they might look like with any work groups or anything like that that we might need for those changes. And so you'll see all of those listed here. We have some in September, some in November, a lot in November. Actually, those are those ones for the 1/1/27. And I think I have another slide that talks a little bit about the strategy, which I'll get to in just a second. And these changes go, as you know, go all the way into 2029. And then the ones that are the CalFresh changes, those at the end, the TBDs are ones that we don't have dates on yet for those. On the next slide. So with the May revise and HR 1, finishing up that roadmap, there are some sessions that DHCS and CalSAWS are working to put together for October and the November timeframe. And that includes a refresher on the property policy, since that is being reinstated, and then also a refresher on the immigration data collection pages, and then also some follow-up on the functionality changes. So we want to make sure that people have information about those before they go into effect on 1/1/26. And then I think this is my last slide. So in looking at the January 2026 changes, so those first ones that are the Medi-Cal changes, these are, because I just mentioned they're going to be done in a priority release at the end of December. These do not follow our normal baseline release, so the county validation will not be part of this effort. However, we are putting more attention on testing, making sure that we have additional resources assigned to testing. And then we are also working with CalHERS to perform the integrated testing that's necessary for both CalHERS and Benefits Cal. And then ways that counties can stay engaged and informed is submitting any test suggestions that folks might have through our normal process. And then counties can also track where we're at with testing and any defects that have been found and all of that as part of the JIRA documentation that we have. So it's a lot going on. I don't know if I have any more slides. Do I have any more? Is that it? So there is a lot in this arena. As we know more from CalFresh, as you guys, I'm sure, are aware, the last couple of CalFresh meetings have been canceled because they don't have any updates. So as soon as they get updates, I'm sure they'll hold those meetings and catch everyone up to speed on what those dates are, and then we'll work those dates into our scheduling and target the releases. So back to you, Albert.
Thank you. Any questions of the PSC?
Sure.
There were some dates that were shared from CalFresh, the February 1st dates around the lifting of the waivers. When are those going to, is that an on-off switch that just happens on January 31st or in CalSauce?
Yeah, so right now we're going towards the, you might have to help me. Oh, you don't know. You might have to help me on this one. So we are going, I think we had those dates. I'm not sure if those are, I guess what I'm not sure of is that they're confirmed.
I can hear clear, so.
You can't hear me?
No, she was wondering about she was asking about the February 1st AVOD date, which we're still targeting at this point.
Correct. That's correct. Yes.
I said way too many words, but we're targeting. We are still on track for that.
Okay, so that it will be effective on February
1st.
It will be lifted then. Okay, because I think for us, it's just making sure that we have enough time first to make sure that it goes. And so that assurance is wonderful. Thank you.
Sure.
But also for us, it's making sure we train our staff in enough time to be able to implement that come February 1st, because that becomes the law then, right? So, and I don't know, I think some of us struggle with the timing of that. And for those counties who are offering employment-related activities within their county, that transition might be different than in other counties. So I just want to make sure we're cautious of that in counties who are actually offering the service within their areas, as opposed to depending on a community partner to offer the community-based work-related activities.
Gotcha. Yep, we're still on track.
And then on the other areas for Medi-Cal, the same thing. Is that just a switch that happens on the asset?
So asset, we just turned it off, right? Like
yes.
I think just last year we turned it
I feel
off.
like it's on off.
Yeah, so turning that one back on is turning to Jerry.
Yes, it is work is targeted for the end of December. That's part of the May revised stuff.
But just so it's
But
not.
there is, it's not a switch.
It's re-implementing.
In my head, it's a switch.
I get where you're going.
Like an on-off.
Feels like it should be that easy, I know.
Okay, all right.
It's a little more complicated.
Yes, and I think again, for counties, and we've talked about it at some meetings, is the because it's been kind of on and off, our training has also been kind of the same thing.
Yes.
Some people are trained on full Medi-Cal requirements, some people haven't even touched property or asset, right? So so it's really a refresher for all of our benefits analysts or all of our eligibility workers. So that takes time to get through all.
And also that's why we're working with DHCS to help do some of that refresher.
Perfect.
In the October and November timeline.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's all for me.
Back to you, Albert.
Thank you. Any other comment of the PSC? Do we have any comments of the public? Seeing none, hearing none. Next item, please.
We're getting into the transition updates, Dawn.
Yep, so the good news is you're never gonna see these three circles again. That probably said it all. We're done. So as hard as that is to believe, we are planting the flag and moving forward. So we completed imaging, as you know, June 1st, and Highland, of course, continues to be the SAS, and we are working closely with them on some possible changes and enhancements. The contact center also has been transitioning in steps, infrastructure in February. On July 11th, we took on all of the application and workflows other than call summarization, also known as Fresno Gen AI. That was on July 11th, and we completed that last piece, the Fresno Gen AI call summarization, on July 31st. So that has now been transitioned as well to Gainwell. And then access management, as you know, also converted in pieces, February 1st for the infrastructure and June 2nd for the application. So that completes the infrastructure transition, and we are off and running in maintenance and operations and enhancements and improvements. So with that, I will turn it over to Delight to talk about theirs.
Thanks, Dawn. We are not done, so you will see this slide for about another 6 months as we get through the rest of it. Right now, we're a little over halfway through and transition at the end of August. So if we can go to the next slide, we can get into the details for transition. Thank you. So we have 3 main areas of tasks that we complete as far as transition activities: knowledge transfer, job shadowing, and reverse job shadowing. At this point in the process, we've completed most of the knowledge transfer and the job shadowing activities, with a few specifically scheduled later in the process here that remain. And the bulk of our activities are the reverse job shadow activities, which, as a reminder, is the Deloitte team performing the activity with the consortium and QA observing and providing feedback, also with the assistance of the Accenture team, since we're getting the knowledge from them. You can go to the next slide for releases. So we have several releases in flight right now. We'll start with the first one, 2511. The bulk of our designs are officially approved, with all of them really in a draft state. Build is in progress for across the board on the SCRs. Even the ones where we don't have the last formal approval, we have begun the build activities as we await that final stance, because their designs are fairly solid at this point, so feel comfortable going forward. We have been working with the QA team and the consortium testing team to get access to a pre-system test environment to begin some preview testing on the 2511, again, to get ahead of that, and in the interest of providing a higher quality product when we get into the official system test phase. So we will be beginning that next week, really, in earnest. Moving to the sorry, I didn't mean to move to the next slide. Moving to the next release, which would be the first priority release in December. This is primarily around the COLA for December, the SSA COLA. And we have taken several of the items that are generally at a priority release, kind of spread out through December, and consolidated those items into other releases to reduce the number of moving parts, at least from a release perspective, as we go through the transition here. The next one is one we just talked about, the May revise. We're going through and finishing up the design activities in there, and we'll be getting the build activities. 2601, our next baseline release. Design is in progress across the board on the SCRs there. We are still adding additional items to that release, with some capacity for release reserved for some late breaking emergent policy things that we don't know of, but will probably come up. 2602 is a CalHERS release, and that's our first major CalHERS feature release that we're taking on. And that is, we are finished up with JAD, so we're going into the build phase with CalHERS. I think that's the last one, but I will take a pause and see if there are any questions.
Oh, that's the last one. Oh, okay. Before we turn it back over to you, Albert, I did want to say to the infrastructure team, since this will be the last time we're reporting on this transition. The, the project and the counties are so appreciative to both Accenture and Gainwell on all the work that was done to ensure a smooth transition of all of our infrastructure from, to Accenture to Gainwell. It can't be overstated the amount of coordination and partnering that was done to put the project and the counties at the forefront as a priority. And it went off with, it was, as seamless as can be. So we just really appreciate it. This is how you show up, in this type of environment. This was definitely a one team approach. And so I know at times like this, it can get a little, there can be tension, but everyone came to the table with such professionalism and support, and the project is very appreciative to both Accenture and Gainwell on the hard work that was done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Albert.
I think I'm supposed to cover the rest of that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
So the first risk 317, 317 was put out for the May revised items, the policy changes. We are, as I said, design in progress. We're quickly going into build as we wrap up the JADs. We have completed the mitigation steps on this and will continue to monitor this. It is continuing at the same status and risk level, steady state. The next one is regarding timely access to environments as we go through the environment handovers for the releases. We are currently executing the plan as far as the handover of our development environments and our system test environments. And the next environments that will be up here are the official system test environments for the release, which will happen in September. So we're good with that right now. The next was a new risk that was put on recently that had to do with, there are some tools in environments that the Accenture team and the Deloitte team will need to coexist and utilize and at the same time. So we have gone through and established the governance process, identified the items that we're aware of right now, and we will continue to monitor that for any new items that come up. From there. And Lisa, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add to that.
Covered it.
Okay. Now back to you, Albert.
Thank you. Any comments of the PSC? Any comments of the public? Hearing none and seeing none, next item, please.
Oh, sorry, snoozing. And I'll fully admit it. Council SLAs. So the infrastructure SLAs, as you can see on this particular slide, are showing as 100%. In the interest of transparency, and I know we talked about this last time, there was one under security incident response where, again, the particular item was worked, everyone was on it, they took care of it, but there was a procedural problem with the actual incident notification piece. Everyone was involved, and working on it, but there was a procedural problem which we have discussed with the crew to be sure that we can avoid that in the future. It shows 100% though, because that one item, when you put it in amongst this time frame, still rounds to 100%. So that's why you see it that way, but there was actually one that did occur. With that, I will turn it over to Lisa for the Accenture items.
Thanks, Dawn. So from an M&E perspective, everything 100% again back in July. It seems like last year already. We did do our baseline release. So after that release went in, continue to meet SLAs for batch performance, online EDBC, and system availability. Who am I handing it to? Benefits Cal?
So
There you go.
All right, Benefits Cal, the light blue box in the upper right-hand corner, very exciting. We decided not to round to 100 and went for 99.87%, successfully meeting the SLAs in Benefits Cal. And while I'm speaking, so I don't just have to bounce back on the offshore, onshore metrics, no significant change for Benefits Cal there as well.
All right, and with that, Sarah, Molly, I believe one of you should be on for Highland, is that correct? And if not, I can cover for them. So you can see their performance on uptime was 100% in this period. Page views were 99.36, database transactions at 99.98. Brainware was also acceptable with 99.87. They did have one item with their technical resource responsiveness that they did miss, and we are working with them to be sure that we get that coordinated. And I think that's all we had, unless there were questions. Back to.
Thank you. Any questions of the PSC? Do you have any questions of the public? Seeing none and hearing none. Next item, please.
Good morning, everyone. Peggy Macias, the Customer Engagement Director. So I'm giving you an update on our ongoing CalSALS Learning Exchange sessions. So as a reminder, these are sessions that we work with the counties in identifying areas and topics where counties could use some additional support. We also work with the counties to see if any county has any best practices or they're dialed in on a certain area, and we include them in the sessions that we do, that we present for the counties. Next slide, please. So in June, our CLE was on imaging. We held 2 sessions on 6.3 and 6.5. These sessions provided the counties an understanding of the imaging functionality that's available in CalSALS, and as well as recommendations on how to perform various functions and the resources that are available for your staff. We had a total of 920 participants that attended these sessions, representing 49 counties. These sessions are recorded, so if there's any county that wanted to know about it but wasn't able to attend, they can pull up the recording. So and the location of the session was provided to the participants, other PPOCs. Next slide, please. So this slide just gives you an idea of some of the feedback that we received from the participants. Pretty positive. They enjoyed the presentation. They thought it was informative and thorough. A lot of kudos to Ree, who did a fabulous job in presenting the information, and providing the PowerPoints, charts, and references for the counties to use for future presentations. All of that was very much appreciated. Next slide, please. So this is our timeline of where we are for our 24-25 calendar. As I stated, in June, we did our imaging session. This month, actually yesterday and today, we are finishing up our Benefits Cal CLE, so we'll give you an update on how that went next month. And then for the month of October, we are on track to do an ABOD session. Next slide. So as I said, for the upcoming sessions, the counties will receive the notification of the session via broadcast. That will be followed up with an email to the PPOC so that they can forward it to any county staff they believe would benefit from attending the session. Counties who have any best practices or lessons learned, we encourage them to participate, share that information with their RM so that we can include them in any upcoming sessions that we are planning for.
And just as a reminder, if there's any topic that counties are interested in having a session on, please let your RM know, including the, whether it's a high priority, something that's, really want to have done sooner rather than later. Include that information and we'll work that into our calendar. So I'll turn it back over to you, Albert, for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions of the PSC?
Yes, this is Sean from Region 6. Would those ABOT sessions in October, would those be recorded for those later on who were not able to attend?
Yes, they will.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the PSC? Any questions or comments of the public? Jen, you have 3 minutes.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really appreciate that the training was offered for imaging, since we hear that this is one of the major barriers that customers and workers encounter. I'm curious if there's going to be any follow-up or metrics or anything to confirm if there's anything else that could help with imaging or other ways that workers could be supported.
So we're always looking at, sorry.
Are you done, Jen? I just want to make sure I'm following Albert's orders.
Yes. Yes, end comment.
End comment. Yeah, you got to say period, like my 8-year-old.
Over and out.
Yes.
Touche.
You keep doing your job, Albert. You keep doing it.
Keep doing it. Or you know what? Yeah, we're gonna get you a gavel too. Yeah, I know what Peggy's gonna say, but I want to kind of tie it back to this came about from the root cause analysis that we were doing as a result of the comments that we received. And so I think we're going to continue to gather data as you all provide it, as we get it from the counties, and we coordinate with Robert, the tech ops team, to see if there's other areas that we can provide more enhanced training. And Peggy, you can kind of.
Yep, that's pretty much what I was going to offer.
Oh, okay, period. Okay.
Period.
All right.
Thank you. Next item. Well, I'm sorry. Any other comment of the public? Seeing none, hearing none. Next item, please.
Tom?
Yes, Albert, thanks. I know you were very excited to get the procurement early. The QA procurement is on schedule. We did release the RFP on time, and we have been getting a couple of questions. We've got 2 questions, 2 answers so far, and it's moving along as planned. Back to you, Albert.
Boom. Any questions of the PSC? Any questions of the public? Thank you. Next item.
I think these are state partner updates now. OTSI.
Hey, good morning. This is Neha Dhawan from OTSI. I have a couple quick updates. On August 6th, OTSI formally submitted the CalSOS June 2025 OAPDU to CMS for their review and approval. Next update is on August 8th, we received CMS approval for the CalSOS Benefits Cal MNO agreement. That's it from OTSI. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay. CDSS.
Yes, hi, good morning. CDSS has no updates, just a comment. Yes, so I think Karen mentioned that program has been working closely with the federal government to get clarity on the policy requirements and effective dates related to HR 1. As soon as we receive that information, we will definitely be sharing it with all stakeholders. And so thank you for your patience and your partnership.
Thank you. DHCS.
Good morning, everyone. This is Teresa from DHCS. Just a few updates for all of you. First, just wanted to share that DHCS did release a MEDL that gives a high-level overview of all of the HR 1 provisions and the respective implementation dates. So I went ahead and put that MEDL in the chat in case anybody wants access to that. CalSAWS did a fantastic job talking about all of the great collaboration that we have together to put together both training materials for our counties, but also that tight collaboration on system and policy side. Part of the things that are really driving our policy decisions, which ultimately drive our system decisions, are our stakeholder work group meetings that did begin this month. We had our first county work group meeting last week, where we began to get some really critical insight from our county partners on work requirements. We're also going to be doing our community stakeholder work group and managed care plan stakeholder work group beginning later this month. So excited to also have our community members adding their thoughts and ideas as we drive this really critical policy. And then lastly, just kind of giving an idea for everyone when you're going to start to see DHCS policy letters around all of these provisions. Of course, we know that our system partners need policy letters in order to complete all of the implementations that we need. DHCS is driving to a end of 2025 deadline for all of the policy letters for the HR1 provisions. But because we know we need to get these policy letters out quickly, it likely means there will be some subsequent follow-up letters that provide more clarity as we get additional guidance from our federal partners. And that's all the updates from the DHCS side. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Any comments of the PSC? Any comments of the public? Hearing none. Next item. I think we are at the end of our meeting, unless there's
Albert, one last thing. I believe this is Irene's last meeting with the PSC. Irene has been your partner in crime, and as one of the chairs of the project steering committee. And so Irene, on behalf of the consortium, we really have appreciated your time and dedication. I know it's been a tremendous sacrifice for you, but we have been honored to have you, sit in this role, and we will miss you. And again, we thank you so much for your service and your support.
Thank you, thank you. I've learned so much of this process, but I see that I'm leaving you in excellent hands with Albert. And I do want to also, I believe he might be sitting in, just listening in. Del Benavides will be attending as PSC on my behalf. So wanted to welcome him on board. And of course, Sean and Olga will continue for Region 6 as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yep, your team will definitely continue to hold down the fort. So, and that's it, Albert.
All right. Well, I hope that congratulations is a good way for you to exit and for you to leave us, Irene. So I hope that whatever's up next is you have great success, or if you are retiring, you enjoyed your time off. Other than that, are there any other comments or questions? Hearing none, thank you all. We are adjourned.